Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thanks for joining me, Jessica McGovern, for another YouTube video. And of course, it is that time of the month, not that time, it's challenge review time. If you're new here, then please do consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell icon. The bell icon will help you out because it'll give you a notification every single time I upload a YouTube video. I upload a YouTube video every single week on a Friday at 12 noon UK time, but you can join from anywhere in the world as long as you want to advance and upskill your photography. So, challenge review as normal. This time challenge review was all about editing. So you guys were given 3 of my own pictures from a session and you could edit them in pretty much any way that you'd like. We were going to judge and score on general kind of print compy type stuff. I've done multiple videos on print comp, so it was going to be kind of like that. So we're looking for lots of different things, really, to be fair. I was like, well, can we sum it up in one thing? No, we can't. So basically what we're looking for is no clipped highlights, no clipped shadows, good composition, and we're talking like excellent composition here. No distractions in the image, and if there are distractions, then have they been handled? Have they been minimized? Of course, the benefit for me in this situation is that I shot the picture, so I know what was in the original picture. Whereas in competition, of course, the judges can't see that. And then we're also looking at editing bits and pieces, things like, for example, not over sharpening, not kind of editing to the point where you're destroying the subject or the subject's natural feel. So we're looking for things like correct color of the subject. We're looking for things like making sure that the lightest point of the image is where you want the viewer's eye to go, which is really, really important. And these things are things that we're going to be looking at when we go through all of the images that have been submitted today. So we have 70 pictures that were submitted, and I've kind of gone through and pre-grouped them in a way. It's a bit different to normal challenge review because there's only 3 pictures, right? They've just been edited in different ways. So I've grouped them up into little different subcategories. And I've also gone through and sort of collected them, I guess is the easiest way of describing it, into kind of similar-ish sets. So you'll be able to see a theme anyway, kinda on the screen as it is now. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through them. Amazing work, guys. Thanks so much for downloading those files and having a good go at the edit. It is something that we will do more often, I think, because I think you guys really enjoyed it. So I was going to say, without further ado, we'll get stuck in, but as always, I'll always also say that we can't go through every single picture because we would be literally here all day and all night doing all of these reviewy things. And therefore, I'm going to kind of give as much advice, support, input as possible, but we also can't go through every picture. So there's going to be some kind of glossing over, backwards, forward, upside down, here, there, and everywhere to get through these pictures. Right, let's get started. So we're going to kick things off with, I was going to say red group, but there is no red group. So we can't kick things off with a group that doesn't exist. So we're going to kick things off with yellow group instead. Now, yellow group, this is going to be really hard for you guys because some of you will be like, where is my picture? Which one is my picture? I've got no idea because I didn't even collate and crop these this time. The collation and cropping was all done by Dan. So I've got no idea whose anybody's is. I'm looking at them blind for the first time. Yellow group is composition, and I threw in a curveball. I threw in a curveball here with the original file. So for reference, everybody else, that's the raw file that everybody got. Okay, so this is the raw file, and what I was wanting to see with this one was a better balance of composition because this image was top heavy with a lot more space above, and a few people did crop it, some people didn't crop it. And so, as you can see here, we do have quite a lot of that picture in here. So I'm going to just whiz out the rest of them so that we can see a few really good attempts at a different crop on this, which I thoroughly enjoy. So this one here, first of all, amazing heather toning. I think 10 out of 10 for that. But secondly, why have you gone for an offset image when you have a subject that's relatively straight on? Why did you not go for a symmetrical crop? Because that would have been a stronger variation / version of this image. Let me make that a bit bigger so you guys can see. So in this one, you can see that essentially we've got more space on the right, which doesn't have a lot of foundation because if anything, the subject is actually, I guess, kind of leaning slightly slightly left, in which case the space should be the other side. So actually, in this image, cropping it symmetrically would have been a more successful edit. However, we cannot discount the amazingness of that heather color change, and I think it's 10 out of 10. If I take that one out, we're left with these guys, and all of these guys have pretty much retained the original crop. And do you see how much space we've got up here when we were to compare it with, say, the space from here to here down there? So if we were looking at the distance between the top of this ear and the top of the frame, that's a huge gap when we compare it to the bottom of the image and the bottom of where we can see Arthur down here. So if we're using this side as a reference, you can see that that is quite unbalanced. Now, if we use just one of these pictures as an example, so let's use this one here. If we use this image as the example and we crop it so that it's got more balance, okay, so do you see the difference in the crop? So that's more unbalanced and that's more balanced. So that's one of the main things that I was looking for with this picture, was that you would lose some of the top area of the image so that it had a better innate composition. And that would make a huge, huge, huge difference. So yellow group, like I said, is mainly with these images. However, we do have a few of the other ones. Okay, so then we have these guys. This one on the left here, based on the original, this is the original. I'm not saying it was perfectly cropped straight out of camera. I would have had, I would imagine a 7:5 crop or a 10:8 crop in my mind when I shot this. So I would take a little bit off the bottom and have him a little bit more balanced centrally. Great removal of the arm in all of these. Some of them just crop the arm off. So that's kind of the main difference that you'll see in these ones. There's a few that his head is just a little bit too high, a little bit too close to the top. This one I actually really, really liked, and I like it to the point where I don't think it should be in this group. So I'm going to move it because it doesn't need to be in that group. So yeah, sometimes you've just got to go with your gut on these things. These guys over here, this one is a little bit too close to the top. This one, we've chopped off quite a lot of the bottom and quite a lot of the top. So again, we're a bit tight on the top, a bit tight on the bottom. And this one, he is quite central in this one. He's really quite central in it, yet he's looking to the right. Something like that would be more balanced. So you've got a little bit more space on the top and the bottom. But all of these were absolutely amazing edits. Really, really, really nice stuff. I love your color changes. I love all of the changes that you've made and all of the kind of effort that you've gone to work this up into your own style. And also anybody who did this one, I want to give you guys absolute shout out, top 10 out of 10 for all of you removing the distracting bit of plant down the front. I know I kind of did hint at it when I gave the pictures, but these bits of wispy grass, you've done all really, really well to take those out. Like seriously, amazing work, amazing. So green group, which we're in right now, this is welcome to green group. Green group have a running theme that the subject is essentially the wrong color. That's kind of the main thing. So even if you're doing a color change, even if you're going for a different moody vibe, you have to make sure that you're preserving the correctness of the subject. And in this case, Arthur has changed color for all of these pictures to either a higher or a lesser extent. Now, there's some that are quite heavily color toned, and you can introduce those tones onto the subject in a way that would be reflective. But if the entire subject is that color and the wrong color in that kind of a way, then what you end up with is a situation where it just doesn't look right because there's no sort of neutral line running down the middle there. Does that make any sense? So all of these ones, really good effort, really great work, just unfortunately changed the color of Arthur too much. So then we move into blue group, right? Blue group is more of an editing thing. It's a little bit more of an editing thing. There are quite a few of these ones who have got mainly, the main thing is masking edges or mask edges or halos, that kind of thing. Well, there's a couple of them that could fall into the other camps as well, but I'm going to walk through this. So on this one, I can't really zoom in a huge amount of detail, but you see there's a dark halo around the back of Arthur's neck here and on the top of the head. That would have been great if that was not there. This one, we have some mask edges, some haloing around the top edge of the subject, and on this one it was, you've done a really good job of this, to be fair, because I had to do a double take and think, hang on, hold the phone, I didn't put that picture in here. You've merged two of the pictures into one picture, which I think, 10 out of 10 for creativity, and I'm absolutely here for it. Sadly, the connection point between the new head and the original body isn't seamless. So that line, unfortunately, has just taken some of those little kind of bonus points / wow factors out of there. This one we have mask edge around the ears and around the body, so there's a dark halo. This one is the same thing, so we've got dark halo around the subject. This one again, dark halo around the subject and a little bit on the top there. And these highlights on the top of the head are just a little bit too hot. So that takes us out of blue group. Now, theoretically, if we take all of those out, we're left with all of these, which is, I guess, where we're going to be working from. And at this point, I have absolutely no idea where to go next, because I just think all of these are great. All of them have correctness in them. They're all correct. And so it's just a case of whittling them down. And I think the easiest way of doing this is grouping them actually into their little image subgroups. So we don't really mind about them being moved really far away from the original shot. What I'm looking for essentially is handling of distractions and correctness and cleanness in what's happened, and also realism. So there has to be some element of realism coming through. So things like focal plane correctness, natural shadow and highlight detail, color toning, so on and so forth. So I think we're just going to have to like look through these and go one by one, because just isn't really another way of doing this. Anybody who's in this set, and I'm hoping that you guys know who you are, because I've got no idea, really seriously well done, because it's super, super correct. And the first thing that I'm going to kind of do running through is look at the distraction handling. So I did throw this one in as a little bit of a curveball, because there were trees coming out of Arthur's head. And in some of them, the trees are still coming out of Arthur's head, and in other ones, the trees have been either removed completely, or there is other elements there that kind of soften them off a lot. And so I kind of want to almost cherry pick the cleaner ones. So I'm going to just pick them so that I can siphon them off into a different pot. This one, he's changed color a lot. It's a bit warm. These two are lighter, but they're the right hue, so I'm okay with it. This one, the tree is still there, but it is very much kind of, it's in the background. It's not coming straight out of his head. There is a break. This one has been softened off a lot, so I would probably pull that one through. And the same with that one. Okay, so that leaves us with those ones. Now, these ones all have the tree to a greater or lesser extent. I think they're great edits, but part of the hints for this one was to make sure you remove all distractions and all compositional issues. And so for that reason, I'm going to discount these ones. And that feels horrendously cruel, but you've got to do what you've got to do. Then we're left with these ones, which technically all meet the distraction criteria. This one, he's changed color a lot, and his eyes are a little bit too radioactive. Okay, there's a little bit too much. So I'm going to also take that one out. This one is lovely, actually. I really, really like that one. I do like this one. That highlight is very distracting though. Unfortunately, it's pulling me down to the left, so it's not keeping me in this little feedback loop here. That's really nice. Is that the same as the one that I said was really lovely? I'm not sure. This is a little bit deep and green for me, but it's not about just my taste, so I'm okay with it. This one is very bright in these areas. Again, I'm being pulled down. So it's pretty well handled. It's pretty well handled. I think this is so well done. One of the rules was that you don't use overlays, but when I was going through these, I was like, oh, this one looks like we've got a snowverlay happening, and a snowverlay would not have been allowed. However, we're going to give the benefit of the doubt, because Dan said in the description of this one that the individual who did this created by hand all of the different snowverlay things. And so we're going to give the benefit of the doubt in this one. I don't know whether I quite believe them, but that's because I'm cynical, boring old person, and could do with just lightening up a bit. So I'm going to go with it. Okay, so that leaves us with those. We're going to stop there for now. Let's go to this set. Let's see what we're working with here. We've got some matting, and we also have some gritty contrast, and I'm totally here for it. We have some color changes, and we have some not color changes. And again, I'm here for it. We've got some interesting crops, different things happening. So yeah, let's just go ahead and have a look through. I like this one. It's got nice calm vibes. I kind of like this one. It's very moody and cool, cold, deep. I like it. I really like this one though. I do like it. I'm slightly concerned about the highlights on the head. I feel like we don't have that much light on the face. I like it. This one, again, the light in the original raw file was very, very dark on the face. I wanted a lot of lift through those shadows so that we could see his face a little bit more. But I think this is a really good go. A little bit dark, this one. I'd have liked this one to be a bit lighter. I like this one. I like this one. I'm looking for problems and I can't find any, apart from the fact that we have green reflection on the chest, and yet the heather has been changed colour to a more richy purpley colour, and so that should be reflected back onto the chest, whereas in this one we've retained the green reflection. So I'm gonna have to take that one out. This is a lot lighter and brighter than I personally would do. I like this one, but we have the wispy distraction in there. Okay, so what did I say? I said about the highlights on this one, which is brutal because I love the colour change. I said that that one was a little bit dark in the eyes. This one was potentially a little bit dark in the eyes. But you know what? I'm going to leave these ones for now. And then we'll go on to the last one. So I'm going to go through these ones now. Some flips, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with a good flip. I do flips too. It's all right. This one, I am liking the colour change vibes. I'm here for it. I think it's cool. This one I'm less keen on, and I'll go through it. So in this one that we can see on the screen now, you can see that we've got foreground kind of covering the bottom of the subject so we don't look down. And we also have got the light coming from the front in this direction in terms of the main light on his face. And this one is just kind of like a nice added little side light. Whereas in this one, because it's left to right and most of the Western world reads from left to right, we land here on his shoulder and we get stuck. When really, if it was flipped, it wouldn't be quite that obvious that there was more light to that side. It is a little bit too light on that side. I would have liked the light to come in to hit the front of his face rather than the side. And also we've lost a little bit of that foreground, just needed a little bit more depth down at the bottom there so we didn't fall out the bottom. But I think it's a really good shot. Nice clean behind that one. So we've got we do have some trees behind that you can kind of see, and some have had the tree removed, and I'm okay with that. There's a lot that's been removed. It's like playing Spot the Difference. This one, I just want to bring everybody's attention to this one, because aside from the fact that I wish we'd also toned the green of this bit of plant, which we haven't, the fact that you've introduced the tree on the side here on the right actually really works, and you've removed the tree in the background. That one is like, I'm going to give it 5 stars because that is well controlled. Some crops, I'd say that's maybe a little bit tight. I feel like we missed a little bit of the side coming into it from the original environment, but it's also still a really nice shot. What about the black and whites? There's a bit of haloing happening around this one, which is a shame. That is a shame. Where's maybe the black and white? This one, no haloing happening around this one. This one actually is quite successful in black and white. I wish that that little bright thing down the corner on the left here was out, because it does pull your eye, but I'm here for it. This one has changed the colour of him a little bit too much, a little bit too contrasty for me. Sorry. This one, this is really bright and it's pulling my eye. Really sorry. This one I feel we're just a bit too tight all around now, unfortunately. I kind of like the crop, but again, we get stuck on the shoulder a little bit, and there's a little bit of almost like a mask edge, like a little dark strip down his back there, which is a shame. Oh, now we're getting to crunch time. This one I'd have liked a little bit more down the bottom, personally. I think this bottom one, this bottom edge, is more successful than that bottom edge. Do you see the difference? Utilising that foreground bokeh versus not utilising it. I feel like we maybe need to take at least one more out. So again, if that argument was true for that one, then it is also true for that one. So we need to be fair. Fair is fair. Okay, right. So that takes us to here. Right, is it worth us trying to whittle this down any further? Because I don't think it's physically possible. I think that one with the tree coming out the head, we're going to have to be firm because that was a criteria. The same as that one. So then do we have any obvious trees coming out of heads on these ones? Maybe that one. I'd say that is more obvious. Arguably more obvious than that one, but it is close. These guys are clear. Is there anybody out of group image number 2? Do any of you want to take a day off? Anyone? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, is it a halo? Is it a halo? The more I move backwards, the more I think it is a halo. Around the top of the head. I don't know. Good God, this is difficult. This is always the hardest point, but we're going to have to go one way or another. I think based on execution and creativity, I'm going to go ahead and give it to this one. I did warn everybody that it's not the amount that you edit that makes you succeed in this. It's the quality of the edit that makes you succeed in this. But genuinely, the quality of this edit is really good. It is really good. You've even got bits of snow that you've put on the log. I think that's great. This was definitely not taken in winter, but I'm feeling like we're taking in winter. The toning of everything is very good. Even the brownness coming through the trees kind of matches. The sun's okay, potentially a little bit bright for me, but I'm also not completely against it. The highlight control is exceptional. This one is going to be winner, winner, chicken dinner, okay? So that's that one, which takes me over to this one, because I already highlighted this one as a major kind of contender here. If it was me, right, if it was me, I would make sure that these greens on this plant bit were toned to the same level as the rest of it. That's what's causing me an issue now when we're placing. These bright areas of bokeh, I probably would have just whipped out because they're right on the edge and they will pull the weight. However, the subject's looking that way, so it's not completely unbalanced. The cloning and duplication of the trees on either side, it's not obvious enough for me that it's been done for it to be detrimental to the success of the image, which sometimes it is obvious that it's been done. So this one is a real contender for me. Oh, I feel like there's a slight halo, but it's probably my favorite of these ones in terms of the tones, because I just love the fact that they've matched Arthur vibes. I can't go against it. This one compositionally is a little bit too tight to the top. This is really successful, actually. I'm going to give that one a pick. I feel like the work on mapping the light in this one is really successful. Having that lighter area up there. This one I think was done really, really well. Oh, it's different when you look at them bigger, isn't it? I think it's just that straight chop off the top of that tree that causes me a bother and a bit of a blurry situation happening down here. I'm so sorry, because I really like that one. I love this one. It's super natural and it's very similar to the original file, but it's just been done really well. It's just been done well. It lacks a little bit of weight on the side, which I kind of wish it had with the trees that were there originally. I think that would have helped support it more. The black and white one I like, just a few little distracting bits that I've liked toned. Let's go ahead and look at our not selected stuff yet to see if we can pick who gets bronze pin and who gets the silver pin. I know it's matte. I get it, it's matte. I just wish there was more light in the eyes. Just a little bit more crispness to it, depth to the pupil. And I'm going to be brutal because it's my job. I like this. I like this matting. This is deep. I wish there was a little bit more brightness to the front of the face. Like that. The quality that's come out of Instagram on that one is far superior to this one, but I'm not going to be critiquing on your ability to export to Instagram. You balanced catch lights. So the creator of this one has copied the catch light in this eye, flipped it and put it on that eye, which technically wouldn't happen. So it wouldn't be flipped. If you're going to use catch lights, they need to stay in the same direction they were, but then move to the other eye. And if needed, take a bit out for the nose, depending on where the light's coming from. So in this one, that's why this one visually is a little bit confusing to look at, because you've got a mirrored catch light. And ideally, you would want to have mapped catch lights. These catch lights are far more natural. Do you see how this creator has copied this catch light and put it in this eye, whereas this creator has copied that catch light, flipped it and put it in that eye? So that's the difference. You need to retain the way it is, because the world's not mirrored side to side. We're getting super nitty gritty specific here, which is a bit brutal. Sorry, I said we would carry on. Yeah, I just lack that visual weight. This one has a visual weight, but it feels close, top and bottom. Just wanted a little bit more space from that one. Yeah, it's just too close, top and bottom for me. Brutal. I am so brutal. I would tell myself to have a day off if I could. This one I feel like is really drawing me in. This one, I feel it's too dark in the face. Oh, I just wanted more in the eyes, which takes us to here. We've already got our gold pin. So we need a silver pin and a bronze pin. And bearing in mind that this one had the green bushy bit there, and does use duplication, but it's quite successfully done. I'm gonna go with joint bronze for this one and this one. Joint bronze, silver, and a gold. Let's see who this is. So that was me changing the crops and realizing there's going to be names in this I can't pronounce just like normal. So who got the gold pin? The gold pin goes to Weasley Pictures 1 with this really great take. And I'm obviously trusting here that this is not a snowvolley, okay? If that is a lie, we have a big problem because I don't do liars, ever, never, ever. We have silver pin, which goes to Sarah Kennes Photography. I'm really hoping that was right. I'm really hoping it. We've got joint bronze pin for Wojtek Koala. I'm going to go with that. I don't know. We're going to hope. We're going to pray. And then the other bronze pin goes to Federica Raposi with this one here. So hopefully that's pretty good. But I want to have your take on it, guys. So if I may, you have got literally all of those to choose from in terms of what you think your winners are, which I know that's really difficult. So let's go for your top picks from each picture. So picture 1 is these ones. Picture 1 is these ones. You've got top row left to right. So left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you've got bottom row left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go with what your thoughts are on that. So that's picture 1. We've got picture 2, which is this one here of my shortlist. So again, top row left to right for picture 2. Bottom row left to right for picture 2. And then we've also got picture 3, where we've got 3 rows, again, left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who would be your winner? Please do let me know in the comments below, because I would love to know. Those of you who have won a pin, please do reach out and ask for your little pin badge so that you can pop it on your picture and share that everywhere. And of course, we also feature all of the pin winning images in our Tog Talk magazine for premium members. So we will probably be reaching out to ask if you could share the picture and also share what you did with that picture so that we can feature you in the magazine. And of course, you will also get a copy of Tog Talk if you would like to contribute to that from the monthly challenges. Okay, so there's like a lot of information in that, but it was all really important. It is August, which means we need to also look at the August challenge. The August challenge is indoor. Okay, so you've got the whole of August to pull together a photograph that was taken indoor, and we're talking indoor anywhere. So it has to be in a building. Okay, that's your criteria, a building. It doesn't have to be a house, but it can be a house. It has to be inside a building, right? That's your indoor. Now, it could be street, okay? So as long as if it's in a building, if it's inside something, it could still be urban photography, but in a building, right? Or it could be studio, or it could be something in natural light at home. It could be anything as long as it is shot indoor, okay? That's it. It's really kind of loose. The subject can be anything. It does not need to be a human or a dog or a horse. It could literally be anything at all as long as it's indoor. Okay, artificial light, ambient light, doesn't matter what you want to go ahead and use. Could be natural light, as long as it's indoor. So that is the August challenge. Normal entry criteria applies. Remember to read it very carefully because we're not including anything that is not entered correctly. Okay, I won't remind you guys again, it's not going to happen again. So I will go ahead and wait for those entries to just come kind of like flooding in. And I cannot wait to look at them. I really cannot. You guys, amazing work. Compared to the last edit challenge that we did, this is worlds away, worlds and worlds away. You've done so well. And maybe it's something that we should introduce every quarter, because I think it's really great to see you guys just throw your own spin on stuff. And hopefully the little bits that we looked at in these edits will be useful for you moving forwards into the future. So congratulations to our pin winners. Congratulations to anybody who did enter. And I'll see you guys really, really soon.